For centuries, there has been an ancient practice, a technique so powerful and transformative that it was deliberately kept hidden, not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. Imagine this, an ancient key lost in the folds of time, capable of opening the most sacred gateway, the memory of your soul. This technique doesn't teach anything new. Instead, it lifts away the veils of what's been forced upon us. The greatest deception wasn't making us ignorant, but convincing us we were something we're not. What if today you remembered your true purpose? What if instead of searching outside, you found a voice inside you that never left? And what if that voice could be awakened by a technique that was once available only to a few initiates, carefully protected from those who would turn it into a tool of control? This video is not just a story, it's an invitation, a guide to a forbidden practice, not because it's dark, but because it shines too brightly. Those who hold power in this world fear an awakened soul more than a sleeping army. In the next few minutes, we'll explore the hidden origins of this technique, its roots in forgotten schools of wisdom, why it was suppressed, changed, or mocked by systems that prefer souls to remain asleep, and how you can use it practically to remember who you really are. Not just an identity or story, but a vibration, a living eternal consciousness. We'll use stories, symbols, and ancient philosophy to untangle complex ideas and get back to what truly matters. This isn't a theoretical lesson, it's an inner experience if you're willing to listen with more than just your ears. Because this technique isn't something you memorize, it's something you feel, activate, and most importantly, remember. So if you're ready to look beyond the surface, to question what you've been told about yourself, and to walk toward what your soul has always known, this video could be the spark you need. Forbidden doesn't always mean dangerous. Sometimes it just means the truth is too powerful to be openly shared. Almost every ancient culture shares a common thread, a quiet whisper that spans continents and centuries. The idea that humans have forgotten who they really are, that life as we know it is like a dream, a veil separating us from our true selves, and that there are paths and practices designed to awaken that sacred memory. But here's the catch. These practices aren't found in history books, schools, or organized religions. They were hidden, banned, or twisted into superstitions, mocked, and symbolically locked away so no one could tap into their real power. For example, in ancient Egypt, the priests of the houses of life performed secret initiation rituals where newcomers experienced a symbolic death. Their bodies rested for hours while their consciousness was guided through subtle spiritual realms by a master. When they returned, they were changed. They had crossed the veil and remembered. In ancient Greece, the Orphic schools described the soul as trapped in the body, not in a pessimistic way, but as part of a purification process. They taught chants, breathing, and trance states that let the soul temporarily free itself from its earthly identity and glimpse its divine origin. This experience, they said, was not only revealing but irreversible. In ancient India, the rishis, or wise seers, taught the concept of smarana, remembering what the soul already knows. To them, spiritual ignorance wasn't about lacking information, but about being disconnected. The way back wasn't about collecting more knowledge, but about unlearning, detaching internally, practicing silence and aligning vibrations to bring consciousness back to its original state. Across all these examples, the essence of the technique was the same, even if the forms differed. It wasn't about learning something from outside. It was about reconnecting with the spiritual memory deep inside. Then came the darkness. Religious wars, institutionalized spirituality, the rise of external control over inner truth. What was once a path to remembrance became empty rituals, rigid dogma, or heresy. The techniques were broken apart, symbols hidden in myths, and the core teachings sealed off as dangerous. Dangerous to whom? To the systems that don't want you to remember. Because once a soul remembers who it truly is, it can no longer be controlled. Today, this knowledge is resurfacing, not as something new, but as a memory awakening in those ready to receive it. And the most amazing part, this so-called forbidden technique has always been inside you, resting in the deepest parts of your consciousness, just waiting for you to recognize it. To understand the power of this forbidden technique, we first need to rethink something. The soul doesn't need to learn who it is. It needs to remember. And that memory doesn't come from thinking, but from a vibration, a specific frequency. When that frequency activates inside you, all that's false starts to fall away, and all that's true shines forth like a quiet light. But how do you reach that frequency? The forbidden technique isn't a set of words or an external ritual. It's an internal process, a series of steps aligning your body, mind, energy, and consciousness, until, through resonance, your soul's memory appears, not as an idea, but as a living experience. Imagine your soul as a perfect melody, but it's covered by layers of noise, interference, outside beliefs, past traumas, and conditioning. This technique works like a tuner. It doesn't add anything new, it simply removes what blocks the sound, polishes, and brings everything into harmony. As it does this, that original melody starts to play again. This technique has 3 main phases, and while they don't happen in a strict order, they're all essential. First is the deprogramming of the false self. This is the toughest and first step. It means identifying the voices inside you that aren't really yours. Thoughts you accepted without questioning, masks you wear without realizing. You observe deeply. What are you thinking? What do you want? What are you afraid of? And ask yourself, is this really mine, or was it put on me by someone else? This technique teaches you to clear out old mental habits, not by fighting them, but by seeing clearly. What wasn't built from your true self can be taken apart by your true self once you become aware. Second is activating your inner sense. When the noise starts to fade, something you've always had but rarely noticed begins to show itself. This inner sense isn't logical or emotional, it's direct perception. You don't force it awake, you tune into it. The technique helps you awaken this sense using mindful breathing, silent rituals, being fully present in your body, and visualizing symbols. One important idea here is that what you imagine with focus and devotion, your soul accepts as real. This imagination isn't fantasy, it's a bridge. The symbols used, like an inner flame, a heart's lotus, or a soul's mirror, aren't made up. They're universal images that bring ancient memories to life. When used right, they don't create ideas but awaken inner visions, experiences, and reconnections. Third is resonance with your true name. Deep spiritual traditions talk about the soul's hidden name, not a word spoken aloud, but a unique vibration. This technique teaches that every being has a sacred frequency. When you call it correctly, not with words but by embodying a certain state, you instantly recognize it. It's like a door closed for centuries suddenly opening. You don't remember with your mind, but with your vibration. You feel a powerful certainty. This is me. I've always been this way. I just forgot. This process doesn't happen overnight. It requires dedication, honesty, and commitment. But once it starts, something irreversible happens. Part of you begins to watch from a deeper, calmer, and more real place. That's when the true journey begins. As the technique takes effect and the layers of false self weaken while your inner vibration clears, something beyond words happens. Your soul remembers without thinking. It's like a light turning on in a room you've always had, but never explored. What appears are not ideas, but presences. parts of you waiting to be seen. The you who loves unconditionally, trusts without fear, and knows without needing to learn. At this stage, awakening becomes real and tangible. The soul starts recognizing its origins. But there's a quiet warning. Not everything you discover is light. When you remember who you are, you also recall who you're not. Mistakes, unfinished choices, and unhealed wounds come up. This is a vital part of the process. Not punishment, but freedom. You can't embrace your whole soul without facing your shadow too. When practiced well, this technique reveals not just your light, but also what you've hidden, even from yourself. That's why many traditions say this practice is dangerous for beginners, because facing your soul honestly takes spiritual maturity, not measured by years, but by your willingness to face the truth. At this point, those who practice deeply often enter what can be called a conscious trance. This isn't the trance psychology talks about, losing yourself or hypnotic states. It's an expanded awareness. The soul takes charge of what you perceive. You sense your body but also notice your surroundings from a slight distance. You think, but thought no longer controls you. It's like your consciousness steps back just a bit from your ego. From this quiet place, everything gains new meaning. Emotions become clearer, perception widens, time feels loose. Sudden intuitions arise without logical cause, and memories from past lives or ancestors appear. Knowledge you never studied but seem to carry with you. This is the deepest part of the technique. It's no longer about practicing, but about living in this state. You start living from a new center, not wearing masks, but acting from your true self. Decisions become clearer, relationships more honest, fears less intense. And here's the paradox. The soul doesn't learn who it is, it remembers. This memory isn't a picture or story, but a steady vibration recognized as home. This is where the most sacred thing happens. The soul settles. Once that happens, nothing is the same. Your body stays, life goes on, but something inside you has woken up to never sleep again. And this is why the technique was called forbidden. Not because it's dangerous for you, but because it threatens everything that kept you asleep. Awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a practice. And even a brief moment of deep inner revelation doesn't mean you'll automatically live in that state. The technique we've talked about isn't just a spiritual experience, it's a compass for daily life. Bringing it into your day-to-day turns seekers into wise ones, learners into teachers, and routine into ritual. We're not talking strict rules here, but living principles, paths that, when followed with intention and persistence, awaken and maintain remembrance, even in the busiest parts of life. True spiritual power isn't about lighting you up in a quiet cave. It's about staying awake in the middle of all the noise. First, practice active silence. The soul remembers best in silence, not just the absence of sound, but a silence of full, undivided attention. Take a few minutes each day, no matter how long, to just be with yourself. Don't seek anything, don't expect visions. Simply breathe, watch, and allow. This time isn't just rest, it's a sanctuary. It's where the echo of your true name begins to come through clearly. Second, turn your actions into a ceremony. One key to this technique is making your everyday actions a form of presence. Eating, walking, talking, looking. If you do these from your center, they become acts of remembrance. Every gesture can be an offering, every word an invitation. Ask yourself, am I acting from a mask or from my soul? When you live from your soul, even the small things become sacred, and that keeps your remembrance alive. Third, be mindful of what you feed your mind. Your soul doesn't forget, but your mind can bury that memory under a flood of distractions. What do you watch? What conversations do you join? What images do you repeat? This technique teaches that everything coming in through your senses, shapes your inner vibration, and that vibration is like a temple where your soul's memory shows up. Clean up your environment. Care for your attention like a skilled alchemist tending a fire. Fourth, speak less and speak from deeper within. Don't just repeat what you've read. Don't use other people's words. Don't talk out of habit. When you speak, let your voice come from where your soul lives. Words spoken from remembrance have the power to awaken others. Let your voice be a channel not for ideas but for resonance. Fifth, act as if you already know who you are. Even if you haven't fully remembered yet, live like you have, not to pretend, but to tune in. The soul doesn't reveal itself when there's constant doubt. It shows up when it sees you willing to live true to who you really are, even before you fully understand it. Walk like you carry an ancient legacy inside you. Love like you've loved for centuries. And remember, remembering doesn't come from searching. It comes through vibration. For centuries, we've been told awakening is hard, that the soul is a mystery we can't understand, and that knowing who we truly are is a privilege for a few. But that's not true. The most forbidden truth isn't complicated. It's simple, direct, close, and most of all, it's what those who want you to stay asleep fear the most. This journey we've started together isn't just a collection of ideas. It's a map, a signal, a torch for those who sense there's something more. Something beyond the name you say every day, beyond the role you play, beyond the story you've been told about yourself. You're not that. You never were. You're a vibrant part of eternal consciousness, a note in a cosmic symphony still playing. Your ancient memory dressed in the present, and you forgot. We all forgot. But here's the key. You can remember. The technique we talked about isn't a new invention. And it's not a secret formula sold like a product. It's a reflection of what's always been inside you. It's the reawakening of primal memory. Most importantly, you don't need to search for it outside. You don't need gurus or to be perfect. You just need to return to your center, quiet the noise, and allow your soul, full of infinite wisdom, to show you what it's always known. Remembering who you are doesn't just change how you think. It changes how you see the world. You stop seeing enemies and start seeing mirrors. You stop fearing the future and start honoring it. You stop repeating broken stories and begin writing from the truth. When that truth comes alive, everything changes completely. You stop needing approval from others because you're connected to something greater. You stop needing all the answers because your silence has grown wise. You stop chasing love because you realize you are love. This isn't an empty promise, it's an invitation. An invitation you need courage to accept. Because the soul's path of remembering is beautiful but not always comfortable. It strips away everything that isn't you, rebuilds you, and puts you face to face with what you've hidden, so you can choose who you really are. If this message touches you, if something inside you stirs, if a part of you says, "Yes, this is for me," don't let your mind snuff out that spark. Subscribe to this channel. If this video reached your core, hit like. Share it with anyone who needs to remember, because there's no revolution greater than an awakened soul. If you do, others will follow. And without violence, dogma, or forced religion, the world will begin to change from the inside, from the place where everything started, from remembrance. You're not here to learn, you're here to remember, and that remembering has already begun.